say, man? Hey, welcome to Hustle Your Hustle. I'm Trey Verdejo, Beautiful Perfection. Man, you here in the hometown of Baltimore, man. And look, man, what we bringing to you guys, man, is a show where we actually broadcast the entrepreneurs, man. Right? Ownership. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, but spread the love, man, so that way the viewers can learn to do what they doing. So enjoy the ride, sit back, man, and hustle your hustle. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Hustle Your Hustle TV. I'm one of your hosts, Trey Verdejo.
I am DJ Beautiful Perfection.
Man, we got a real good treat for you guys today, man. Today we are going to interview the one and only Stokey. All right, his brother's running for mayor, grew up here in Baltimore. We're about to find out why. Follow us.
So, primaries in April, but when we win the primary,
right.
You still got to go through the general election, you know what I'm saying, and let it take its toll. So right now I'm going to invite y'all to where we're going to be at every day probably for the next 14 months, working for the people, trying to get the message out so everybody can understand exactly what we do, why we're doing it, and what we're doing it.
All right, well, it's a pleasure. Today we got a good one for you guys, man. This is a special treat, so I hope you guys really appreciate this. No other than my man Stokey here. Say something to the people, my brother.
Man, it's a pleasure to be in y'all guys' company, man. I'm glad y'all chose me for this interview, man. What y'all been doing is just nothing but excellent for the community, hope for people, and hopefully this interview inspire people to not only do what I've been doing, but do it themselves, because I think when you create this platform for people to see actually things happening, they start to believe more.
Thank you for having us. So I know you guys kind of like just opened up Thursday, man. So like walk us through us, like I'm pretty sure you didn't have gatherings before, not in this room, but walk us through us how that process usually go. Like they say the decisions and then you kind of get the final.
Everybody has a different job description. We got a campaign manager, we got a treasurer, we got a chairman, we got a PR, we got a community volunteer coordinator. So most of everything we do is individual, but if it's something that's dealing with like a policy or procedure we want to invoke, we'll come together on. We do research, study, and see what makes sense for Baltimore.
So we're gonna jump right into it, man. First question off the bat, because when I heard about it, and I heard it through a friend, mutual friends, but we got a lot of mutual friends from the city, and it's like, yo, man, Stokey's running for mayor. And no disrespect to you, brother. And I was like, mayor, the fuck out of here, why we run for mayor? What's going on? Not in a sense that you couldn't do it, but in a sense like, that's inspirational. Like you don't hear that from the circle that I be around, and I'll be around some good circles.
Right.
So to hear that, I was up here, so it was inspiring. So when he said, "Man, we got to plug in, we can have an interview with him," I was like, "Oh man, let's do it." So we would like to know.
I mean, it's definitely a pay cut, but no, I'm inspired by my kids, and then the community as a whole. It came about, through certain conversations and things that was going on in Baltimore that I was privy to. I understand that we're in a crisis, and I felt the need to do more than just sit back and complain. I felt responsible for some of the things I see, because at one point in my life, I was on the other side of that fence throwing rocks. And now that I'm not, I understand how they think, how they behave, and why they do the things they do. So I was taught to serve and give back if I can and when I can, but more importantly, if you know better, you do better. So I had a conversation with my family, and one day I was going to see my 6-year-old son in school. I was telling him I was going to LA. And I was asking him, I was telling him that he couldn't go if he continued to get in trouble. And he wanted to know why I was not making this transition. Like, Dad, why are you going to LA? What's wrong with Baltimore? You don't like Baltimore? And I was like, yeah, but it's not the same. He said, why? Because of the murders? I mean, he's 6 years old, so I'm like, wow. I said, no, and I mean, I don't like to lie to my kids because I always tell them not to lie to me. So I left his presence with tears in my eyes. I got in my car, I called my sister and told my sister, like, look, pack up. We out of here, because if it has affected my son, and I mean, only we talk about is Tom Brady and Stephen Curry. Never do we ever have a conversation about violence, crime, or anything of that nature, because I want him to avoid what I went through as a kid, and he don't have to go through it, so why even put that on his plate? So when he said that, it really bothered me. So I said, you know what? Let me talk to my family about moving and relocating, because if it affects him now, that means I'm doing him a disservice. I haven't protected my son. I want to be protect him, like I would want to be protected. So talked to my family. We talked about it, about moving, relocating. Then when I went home that night, I always look at YouTube videos, for inspiration. It could be a motivational speaker. It could be anything that I can learn from, because I love learning things. And out of the blue, a video came on my phone like "You the One," and I opened it up and I listened to it, and there was a whole bunch of inspirational people that were speaking about serving and giving back and running the race and things like that. So, I'm like, man, maybe I should, not leave Baltimore, fix some of the things that I broke, and hopefully it will inspire a movement and not just be about moments that we see in the past. So I called people that I respect, mentors like Jay-Z, Jay Brown, Henry Jones, and they all gave me the thumbs up. And the hardest test was my family, my kids, 'cause I know how the system, the newspaper, and everybody always try to negatively speak about the things that you have done 30 years ago, but they won't elaborate on the things you done 10 years ago, right?
Right.
So once my kids, they behind me and they all for it, I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. I prayed about it during the month of Ramadan, and I thought that it would be a difficult decision because, like you just said earlier, we don't grow up thinking that we can do certain things. And I believe in my heart I can do anything I put my mind to. And especially knowing where I come from, I don't think there's nothing that politics or politicians can do to me that the streets or my mother didn't prepare me for. So I was like, I gotta get educated, give me a team of people that's very cohesive and intelligent enough, to win this race. And it's funny because we joke and play a lot about the path to victory. It's never been problematic for me. It's always been the people in God. It's never been, oh, I gotta raise $1 billion, oh, I gotta get in front of these folks and look this way, or I gotta talk that way. It's never been that, because I think most of the reason, if not all of the reason why people support me, because I'm authentic. And I always wanted to change the narrative. I love Baltimore. I wanted to change the conditions of the city, because I feel like, if I do that, then everybody can be safe, happy and successful. And you can't keep sitting back complaining about something that you can help fix. And that's why I decided to run for mayor. I wanted to see a change. I wanted to be the change that I see, or I want to see. You know what I'm saying? So I just got with Erica and a few other people who I trust and respect and look up to, and we rolled our sleeves up, put together, a very cohesive, authentic plan about what it would look like to be mayor of Baltimore. And I registered, I filed, for my candidacy, and the rest gonna be history. This is where it all goes down. You're gonna see all type of winning strategies. You got budgets, you got community conditions and environmental ecosystems. We got a lot of different scenarios in here.
Wow, if that right there to inspire you, man, I don't know what else, man. Wow.
Absolutely. I know we've had a few conversations. I know you always bring up changing the narrative of Baltimore.
Correct.
And that's definitely important. When you heard the statement a few weeks ago from their president, did that spark anything into you about this campaign?
Honestly, and I always try to be transparent with people, because, I don't believe you can fix anything unless you know how it works. And as much as I might dislike Donald Trump policies, some of his rhetoric and things he said in his personal capacity, I don't think he said anything that was not true about the state of Baltimore, other than people not wanting to live there. Because I love Baltimore, and I could have left a long time ago. So I do love living in Baltimore, but I don't like the conditions, and that's why for the last 10 years I've been on the ground in my community, giving back, trying to change that narrative, feeding the homeless, back to school drive. I only celebrate Christmas, but I want to make sure kids have toys and bikes and things of that nature. So, to answer your question, it didn't really affect me personally, because I know that we are more than what we get credit for. Baltimore is resilient. We thoroughbreds. We are the face of every adversity you can think of, and we always find a way to prevail. So for me, just to get with my team and figure out how can we counter that. Like, a lot of people was in covert positions, like they want to try to defend a narrative that they can't represent. If the truth don't need no support, then show the truth. If the money was allocated and it was distributed in a proper manner, then show where it went, right?
Right.
So, I grew up in Baltimore my whole entire life, and no matter what city I ever visited, I can tell you from A to Z what Baltimore have and doesn't have, And that's why when we had the conversation 6-7 years ago, I was like, wow, why don't I know? Because I think I know a lot of people.
Right.
So for me, it's like, okay, if Donald Trump is telling a lie, let's prove him wrong with the truth. And I can't say what elected official or selected official defended that with factual information. I just haven't seen it yet. I'd love Elijah Cummings. I think what he had done and tried to do for myself and the community, you know, as best he could, you know, deserves so much credit. However, I can't tell other people how to feel about things that they want to see change in that city. So, you know, it didn't really affect me. It motivated me more to make sure that we change that entire scope of what Baltimore looks like, find people on the ground, invest in these stakeholders and give them opportunity not only represent their community, but the city as a whole, because I travel a lot. And unfortunately, Baltimore is known for 5 things: the wire, hurrah, violence, the Ravens, and now the uprising, right? And I also want us to be known for something positive, okay? I don't talk about the inner harbor too much because it's nothing that I feel like represents the entire Baltimore. I think we have 2 Baltimores when we should only have 1. But if you watch Monday Night Football, they're not going to show you Pennsylvania Avenue. They're not going to show you the Billie Holiday Trophy. They're going to show you the Inner Harbor. Why not? Because they're not proud of it. And I want to find a way to change that narrative, you know, and resonate with the people in the city who have been forgotten, you know, who feel like, you know, there is no hope, right? And by way of me running, I'm from them, I'm of them, I'm with them. That should give them enough hope to say, you know what, Stokey may not know how to be a paramedic, but he know how to find one, you know? Because I'm not going to know all the answers, you know?
Right.
I'm not a solicitor general, you know, I don't know law and layman, I mean, I know the layman terms, but I know that if you can organize and find the right people who may not always understand your vision, but trust in it, I think you're going to be successful. I mean, there are people that I know right now that's in the office that never sat in a politician's seat in their life, but they run the country. I think, you know, my experience read people's opinion, and not to be arrogant or conceited, but I don't want to do what they done.
Okay.
Because if what they done got us where we are today, I don't want to do that. But I know what I have done in my individual and official capacity, they can never do. I'm a very big fan of history, you know, and I have spoken to some very successful, good psychiatrists, you know what I'm saying, criminologists, people who are going to help me find ways to really curb the crime in Baltimore based on their research and expertise, you know. Okay. So I'm not above opinion, you know, I always believe bringing in more people who know more than I do, because their experience, in my opinion, they're just going to enhance what I've already been doing. And they know for a fact that this component that I possess can be used in a way where as though not only that it brings people together, but it can elevate, you know, and inspire people to want to be a part of something different and something new.
Question for you, Stokey. You know, what kind of preparations have you made for some of the backlash that you may receive based on, you know, some of your history?
You know, I try to prepare my team, not myself. And I mean, again, I don't want to sound cocky or arrogant, man. Like, you know, I mean, think about it. I have been in real situations in real life that I can't change. My mom died at age, I can't bring her back, right? My father wasn't in my life. I did 12 years in prison. I can't change those facts. And if people who want change is more concerned about what I did 30 years ago instead of what I've done the last 10 years, then we're going to always have a problem. I mean, I don't walk around here trying to be a demagogue, you know. Am I changing? Yes, because my record in the last 10 years speaks for itself. And the same people, and I'm dying to see who come out and say certain things, right? Because in retrospect, if you look at what I've done in the last 10 years, you know, it's been a lot more than what they done, and they get paid to do it, and I haven't, you know. When we speak about qualified and certified, I mean, you know, my business endeavors speak for itself. You know, I work for, you know, Star Wars company like Shoe City for the last 5-6 years. Partnered with Rock Nation, partnered with Jim Davis and being there on Newbound. I can go on and on. Even the Stokey project come from one individual, having one artist to 7, you know, very successful. Been paying taxes for the last 9-10 years. So, and more importantly, you know, I'm a proud parent. My kids, you know, other than the mistake of a few, like my son who's currently incarcerated, like that's the generational curse that I'm trying to intervene. I'm trying to stop that, you know, because he was a grown man who made a poor decision. I mean, I understand why he would carry a gun in Baltimore today. I just think different. But when you see your peers getting killed, you know, in large numbers, you tend to worry if you next. So I can understand that, you know, and I'm not going to, you know, condemn him for that. I just think the decision he made was poor because he could have hired a private security and they could have protected him, right? But based on the environment and the people he surrounded himself with, that was his best thinking at that time. If you go back today, ask him, would he do something different? Absolutely. Did that make him a bad person? No. There's people who got caught with handguns and pin in the NFL. I mean, you know, they shot themselves in the leg several times. So I can give you a lot of different scenarios based on people making poor decisions, right? But at the end of the day, you know, all my kids graduated from high school. No, I mean, like, and how many people can actually say that? You know, all my kids got jobs. You know, I mean, so as a parent, I'm super proud. But I won't waste my time, honestly, trying to defend or rebuttal negativity, because that ain't gonna help Baltimore. And my campaign was told from day one, we are doing no oppositional research to try to tear down another candidate to build Baltimore up. That's not what I'm gonna do. If I gotta tear him or her down to win a point over who you should vote for, I don't wanna be a part of it. Because that's the traditional politics, you know, of old, and it hasn't worked. Because guess what? No matter who win or lose, most of us gonna look like each other, right? I ain't tearing my brothers and my sisters down to get a job. It ain't that important to me. Because the people choose, and they feel like I'm not qualified, certified, or my vision and my plan is not what's best for Baltimore, I'm okay with that. Now, if they start throwing dirt in the game and, you know, putting grits in my gas tank so I can make the meeting, you know, yeah, that's a problem, right? But just based on people's words and rhetoric, there's nothing they can say I haven't already said. I mean, I've been living and running on my platform for the last 10 years. That's why I've been invited to the congressional inauguration, the Black Caucus meeting, you know, the state of the city addressed by mayors, sitting in a meeting with every police commissioner, you know, to talk about fighting crime. They didn't invite me there because they thought I was a bad guy. They thought I was a change agent and I had solutions. They want to help, see if I can help them solve problems. So I'm okay with that. You know, you got people who write stories who are definitely not educated on what can be because they never saw it happen. And again, to me, it's a win-win situation. Do I have a consolation prize? Absolutely, to save lives. So if my story or my running for mayor will motivate, educate, and influence and encourage young guys to get off the corner and do something else, that's a win for me. If they were to give me a trade-off and say, Stokey, listen, today you can't be mayor because you don't look like a mayor, right? But you stop everybody from killing each other and selling drugs or hurting themselves.
Right.
I want that job. But I need a bigger platform to give a message to people. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
And I know for a fact that me and my community, what I have done and what I continue to do is enough, but it's not enough for the entire Baltimore to eat off of. So sometimes, you know, it takes that village, right, to move forward and hopefully perpetuate that positive narrative you spoke about.
Well, yeah, being that this is a business podcast as well, we have an initiative for like entrepreneurs in the city.
I just think, honestly, man, we need somebody like myself who know how I work, who got relationships and resources, who is going to do the best he can do to make sure everybody wins. I don't see a reason why, because you can't help everybody, but what you can do, you know, you can set a model for everybody to follow. Once you create that blueprint and you give everybody directions, I mean, nobody ain't ever blamed the navigation system for getting lost. They never say, oh, the navigation got me lost, right? You know, because they already got the navigation system the way you should go. It's up to you to follow that way. And sometimes you know for a fact that way they tell you to go don't make sense because you know better, right?
Right.
So if you know better, then you go take your own lead. And I think that's what happens in business. Like for me, no one gave me an opportunity to be successful because they didn't see the vision. And then the other day I was on the phone with somebody I know is down there a billionaire. And he gave me some of the best advice possible. I said, I want to help bring hope to the city. He said, man, if that's what you want to do it. I'm going to support you. And that's all I needed to hear. Because I know for a fact I can't do it by myself. I think relationship is the key component to everything successful. You sit back and say 4 years later, are we in a better situation? Absolutely not. I mean, police feel like they don't have, you know, the community's back. You know, you can argue if they on some type of leave, you know, because now crime is not only out of control, you know, it's like they're allowed to do these type of things, you know. They comfortable.
We just drove past a certain block and was like, man, they doing it like it's free.
Yeah.
And you see police there.
Yeah, so the presence of a police nowadays is almost like, you know, I deal with it when I can. And I'm not speaking for all police, I got family in this police. But we have to understand exactly what type of crisis we're in right now, you know, and know who the person that's either hurting people or the person that's hurt. And identify, you know, and create a model where as though we can give them the resources and help they need, because if not, they're gonna continue to perpetuate the negative behavior that they see every single day. They only doing what they see. Do you think it's a coincidence you don't see nobody on North Alley playing hockey? No, they don't see that. right? You don't see nobody with no soccer ball, you know, on Martin Luther King Boulevard because they don't see that. But if you show them these things, they will probably invest in things they see and they know it can be, and they know they can become that. Because all you gotta do is show them it can be done. But this is where it go down at, man. Hopefully we can use this for 14 more months. Have a big celebration here on November 7th or 8th, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And make history, man, you know.
No doubt.
Like I say, if these young kids get involved and engaged and they go out and register and vote, and they want something different, then I'm your guy. If they want the same thing, then, you know, it is what it is. I can't change that. With that happening, it just show people it can happen to anybody. No one's immune to that. You know, one Coach Reed, who had one of the best jobs in Philadelphia as the head coach of the Eagles, son died of overdose. That don't mean he's a bad dad.
Right.
That don't mean he shouldn't be the coach.
Coach Dungy, remember his son committed suicide.
Yeah, I mean, we are human beings, we fallible, we gonna make mistakes. But we shouldn't use politics to address things that don't have nothing to do with politics. Do I think I can come in here and figure this all out in 30 minutes? No, because it didn't happen in 30 minutes.
Right.
What I can tell you is that if I'm allowed to represent Baltimore, you know, I'm gonna cure corruption, right? Crime will be my first initiative. We have a 90-day plan, an audit
I was
to
about
go
to ask
through.
about that, okay.
Go through the whole entire system, know where the money is going and why it's not allocated to people that need it, and try to change the complexion and the direction of Baltimore so we can really feel like we want Baltimore. I mean, you know, you got people who feel like they're being, you know, gentrified. Gentrification is real, I get it, you know, but I don't want nobody to feel like they left out. Like why I can't go to that table. And I can tell you, yes, I've been benefiting from my community in a very positive way, so I can continue doing that outside, but it's almost like somebody knocking on the door begging for food, right? It's easy if you're already at the table, right? You know you got a plate coming, but if you're at the door, they gotta say if they wanna feed you or not, because you wasn't invited. So I wanna be at the table so I can change the condition, the mindset of the people who I know love and trust me, and I know I can do it with more resources if I'm at the table. Because then you can say, yo, listen, hold me responsible for the things that I haven't done, you know what I'm saying, that I can do. But you got people in there, man, who, I don't know, I just feel like we need to change. I think we need to change. And again, I don't feel the need to talk bad about anybody, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I feel like they probably did the best they could do with what they had. And your best thinking gets you.
But you know now they're gonna talk bad about you.
It's fine.
So
I mean, I'm okay with that. I guarantee you, man, you know, and you can record this interview and replay it, and replay it. You're not gonna find me talking bad about them. I might disagree with their policies and their decisions because that speaks for itself. I don't have to say what I done wrong or what I didn't do. They gotta say, oh, well, these murders happened because somebody fell asleep at the wheel. Or these murders happened because we allowed guns to come in the street or in the city, you know, with no contest. You know, the housing, you know, the economics, and, you know, whether somebody live in a neighborhood with rats and vacant houses, like that ain't on me. No, that's not allowed. Why haven't that been fixed all these years? You know what I'm saying? Why our school system is one of the poorest in the nation? Why we can't compete and succeed at a level like Howard County, you know, in Tulsa? Why not? You know, why do we have to find ourselves with a large homeless population? When we got all these vacant houses we can fix up and find something to do with them, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I can go on and on. We got kids that ride dirt bikes in our city as part of the culture. But you got skate parks everywhere. So right now what you see, man, is a lot of goals and ambitions and you know, policies and procedures and theory and logic to try to change the scope of Baltimore. And this is where it goes down at right here. I just hope, man, that, you know, with all the information that I obtained, I talked to psychiatrists, sociologists, psychiatrists about PTSD and finding ways to, you know, create better avenues for people to be not only screened in prison, in school, in churches, wherever they may be, because that's another epidemic. It's a pandemic for real, but locally we can say it's an epidemic because it's not been addressed. The mental health component has been way overlooked. And why? Because I think as people look like us, they don't have health insurance, right? I mean, you think about somebody trying to get, you know, a Benz on credit, right, or the 100 credit score, probably ain't gonna happen, right? But if you got health insurance, they go, oh yeah, we're gonna come see about you. You know, a lot of people don't have health insurance, so they can't get these issues addressed. I think Baltimore should vote for me because I love my city. You know, I want to change the conditions, you know. And, you know, not only do I love and respect every single person. I think it should be one Baltimore, not two Baltimores. I'm gonna do my best to eliminate crime, corruption, and more importantly, find a way to change the failed policies and procedures, as best I can. There's so many different ways to go about changing Baltimore, but you first gotta change yourself. I changed myself, I understand exactly what I gotta do, what it's gonna take to lead Baltimore in the right direction. I got business experience, business savvy. I've been on the ground for the last 10 years fighting with and for the people during the most crucial crisis of our city's history, So I look forward to taking advantage of the opportunity that's given to me to bring Baltimore back to where it belongs, to the people, And when I turn them keys over to the people, everybody gonna win.